Getting set for extreme cold to creep into the capital. The region will soon be in the grips of frigid temperatures, plunging the region into the coldest days of the season so far. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. The capital will soon be feeling the bite of extremely cold temperatures as a mass of frigid air moves in just in time for the weekend. The wind chill will make it feel close to -30 at some points, and those temperatures can be dangerously cold for those not properly prepared. Before the cold, here's a time lapse of the snow moving through downtown Ottawa earlier this afternoon. Parts of the region could see snow squalls that could make it very difficult for road conditions, as bands of heavy snow and blowing snow may reduce visibility tonight. CTV's Katie Griffin is outside with the latest. Katie.
Well, Stefan, will only be plunged into this deep freeze for a couple of days, but the kind of cold we're talking about can be incredibly dangerous, with overnight lows close to -30 both Friday and Saturday night. It will be the coldest it's been in Ottawa since February 2023. The Salvation Army's outreach and housing team is out 24/7 connecting with clients, providing them with warm clothing and options to get inside. The Ottawa Mission is also preparing for an influx of people trying to get out of the cold and say they'll never turn anyone away.
So when we're at full capacity, we have close to 250 beds plus mats going down, and then 20, 30, 40 people in the waiting area. And it's quite a drain on our frontline team. It's quite a challenge for us to provide those extra meals in the morning and do all those things, but we're happy to do so.
When dealing with the extreme cold, experts say to cover exposed skin, dress in several warm layers. If your clothes get wet, change into dry clothes as soon as possible and limit time outside for you and your pets. Now, in anticipation of this cold weather, there have been some events that have already been canceled, including 613 Flea. It was to take place Saturday at the Aberdeen Pavilion, but it has been postponed until the 31st. Stefan?
All right, CTV's Katie Griffin reporting outside for us tonight. Thank you, Katie. And also, we'd like to head outside to Jackie Pears, who is at Edelweiss along the slopes there. And I know they're probably happy for the fresh powder, Jackie.
I mean, Stefan, on the drive here, there were whiteout conditions at times, and it was a lot thicker, the snow that we anticipated, that it had called for several snow squall watches. It's since subsided a little bit, but the flurries continue here, at least in the Wakefield, Quebec area. Now, here's a live look at the cold that we are talking about right now, this polar vortex that we are anticipating. We are focusing on the cold moving in that will linger into the weekend. Temperatures do continue falling throughout the day as the cold Arctic air sweeps really throughout the region. The major deep freeze expected to hit as early as Friday afternoon. Some parts of the province could see temperatures as low as -3, and this will continue into Saturday and Sunday. So we've had moments of snow squalls throughout the day, wind picking up, and we are watching for blowing snow as well and reduced visibility. We have a special weather statement in effect for parts of Eastern Ontario, including Ottawa. But temperatures right now sitting between -5, -7. But when you factor in that wind chill, Stefan, feeling closer to -10. We are keeping an eye as well on the snowstorm that is moving in through the state. So confidence is growing that it is picking up, and it is quite significant. That hasn't been seen in quite some time. We will have those details and more later on in the show.
Thank you for this, Jackie. In other news, O Train Line 1 is running on a reduced fleet after a mechanical issue with the wheels sidelined dozens of its train cars. It's yet another problem for the rail system where, again, commuters are paying the price. CTV's Tyler Fleming is here with an update. Tyler.
Yeah, Stefan, it's day one of LRT running on reduced trains, and riders are feeling the squeeze. Commuters had to pack into the LRT and, in many cases, became stuck and had to wait for the next train. OC Transpo has pulled most of its LRT trains out of service after a potential safety issue was discovered. The cartridge bearing assemblies, part of the wheel system on the train, aren't holding up. Now, only 18 of more than 60 cars remain on the tracks. The LRT remains on schedule, but with fewer double-car trains. Crowding is expected to continue during rush hour, and replacement bus service, well, that isn't available or an option. There's already a shortage.
I took the train from Herdman, and I had to let the first go by because it was absolutely packed. Like, people couldn't fit.
Very crowded, very hard to get on. Mostly stressful.
It's frustrating for residents, it's frustrating for passengers, it's frustrating for me. But Every time a problem is identified, our responsibility is to make sure that the trains are safe.
Right now, it's unclear when repairs will be fully complete or who is on the hook for the cost to repair the entire fleet. Now, when it comes to the East Line extension, work is moving ahead, but there's no word on when that testing will begin either, Steph.
Certainly frustrating for those who rely on public transit. Thank you for this, Tyler. Turning to breaking news now, as the federal government continues to issue layoff notices to public servants in Ottawa and really right across the country. CTV's Natalie Van Roy is live with the latest developments. Natalie, over to you.
Well, Stefan, it's been a very stressful day for federal public servants who are waiting to find out if their department is impacted, and those notices are going out over the next couple of days. What we know so far is that more than 1,000 employees have been notified at Health Canada, as well as more than 1,000 employees at Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. Now, the federal government promised to cut 28,000 jobs over the next 4 years. Notices have been issued at more than a dozen other departments, including Statistics Canada, Shared Services Canada, Global Affairs, Public Services and Procurement Canada, Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada.
There's going to be very significant impacts for Canadians, just like the very deep public service cuts that we saw in the 1990s, which are remembered now as like a belt tightening exercise, balancing the budget, they said, but those set up some of the worst crises that we're still in, like our healthcare crises.
At Health Canada, the workforce has already seen a reduction in workers over the past 2 years, dropping from more than 10,000 to 9,628 employees. Now, those notices are continuing to go out. We do know from Global Affairs that they will continue to notify employees until January 31st. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Natalie Van Roy with the breaking news developments. Thank you. Meanwhile, more program cuts could be coming to Algonquin College. Staff at the college say a recommendation is being made to the college's Board of Governors next month that could see up to 30 programs get the axe. This comes after the board approved a plan last year to cut 37 academic programs as well as 4 dormant ones and close its Perth campus to cover a major financial deficit. Programs recommended for suspension include journalism, hospitality, and paralegal. Algonquin's Board of Governors will vote on the cuts on February 23rd. New data is revealing a concerning trend for parents of children in daycare. Ontario's licensed childcare centres are increasingly relying on underqualified staff amid a workforce crisis. A report by the nonprofit group Building Blocks for Childcare found that there has been a spike in the use of, quote, director approvals. These are exemptions that allow non-registered early childhood educators to fill roles that normally require certification. The number of director approvals in Ontario has risen from 159 5 years ago to nearly 2,000 in 2025. Researchers say these approvals were originally intended to be a short-term tool. At Carleton University, the union representing teaching assistants held a rally today fighting for clear-cut rules on how artificial intelligence should be used going forward as ongoing contract talks linger with the school. Teachers, assistants, research assistants, and contract instructors braved the cold for the Keep Carleton Human rally. Dozens marching across campus in their fight for the university to agree on defined policies and establishing protections around the day-to-day use of AI.
We've had some difficulties at the bargaining table getting to school to negotiate with us on these protections. They say they don't have a mandate from the Board of Governors, so we're kind of out here today to let the Board of Governors know, give your team a mandate. We're looking to get these protections.
The union representing TAs say they have been bargaining with the school since September, and in an open letter to the university says AI fundamentally undermines the purpose of higher education.
It's part of Ottawa, part of its history.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, the Alexandra Bridge is set to be brought into the 21st century after the NCC approved this new design. And our Jackie Perez is at Edelweiss near the Snopes We'll get to her in a moment, but here's what else you need to know. Come cheer on the Ottawa Black Bears tomorrow night at home. They'll take on the Vancouver Warriors, and it's country night at the Canadian Tire Centre. Game time is 7:30 p.m. Here's a live check on traffic right now. Things are slow going in the westbound lanes around Parkdale. You can see it slow going around Woodruff as well. Eastbound, after you pass Nicholas, things start to slow down after Riverside as you approach St. Laurent. Nicholas, smooth sailing in both directions at this time. We'll be right back. Well, there is plenty of frustration for many transit users in the capital today, as OC Transpo has taken several LRT Line 1 trains off the tracks, and that's being done to fix an issue identified on several of the train vehicles. It means yet another round of service disruptions. Today's radio question of the day is asking, should the city take emergency measures to fix transit?
I can't accept that it's not possible to at least bring in some emergency measures to try and fix things. I can't tell you what those emergency measures are yet, but I'm really hoping we can put our heads together because this is a crisis situation at this point.
Christy Cameron is here with more, and Christy, as always, I'm listening in on your show. Councillor Ariel Troster also almost mentioned rebates or refunds because they are not holding up their end of the bargain to public transit users. You and I have discussed this before and said, OC Transpo can't afford it, but it makes a point.
You think about any other service that you pay for. If you pay for a service and you don't get it, you usually get your money back. Now, I know this is kind of a tall order when we're talking about OC Transpo, which doesn't have enough riders, doesn't have enough buses, and now doesn't have enough train cars to operate the LRT normally. But therein lies the problem. I mean, we're hemorrhaging money. We have riders that are picking up their car keys, or they're ordering an Uber or a Lyft or getting a taxi because the service isn't good enough. So I do think it is smart that we are talking now about potentially refunds. I will point out, because I want to make it clear, she is the downtown councillor that represents the downtown ward of Somerset, where the vast majority of the buses are, the ones that are coming late. In fact, when you look at the numbers, the downtown buses are some of the worst, like bus number 7, which serves Carleton University. But she does not sit on the city's transit committee. So she's going to come to that meeting and she's going to make her voice heard. But, she doesn't sit on it. So the question is, do the city councillors that sit on that committee also share her vision? Right. And she's talking about, like, maybe bringing in coach buses. We don't have enough electric buses. We don't have enough diesel buses. We have buses that are so old they're breaking down. We can't keep up with the repairs. Do we need to bring in new buses? Do we need to give people their money back?
Very interesting. We'll have to wait and see how this develops, Christy. Thank you for this update. You can join the conversation and leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on Newstalk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. And now watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the Newstalk 580 CFRA page.
If you go through the ice, grab a hold of those, and you can pick those into the ice and help pull yourself onto the shelf and get out of the water.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, staying safe on the trails. Ottawa Police sharing reminders for a safe snowmobile season.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and Newstalk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Coming up later tonight on CTV after the news, E-Talk starts at 7. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage at 7:30. Hell's Kitchen at 8. And then an episode of 911 Nashville. And then Grey's Anatomy before national news at 11. Now for another check on the weather forecast, let's head over to the slopes at Edelweiss where Jackie is located for us tonight. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. We have a bit of a break in the flurries that have been moving through periodically on and off. I don't think it's going to be the last that we see this evening as it carries us into the overnight. This has prompted some snow squall watches and warnings in effect. We'll get to that in a minute, but here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam showcasing Spark Street. It's about -6 right now, but when you factor in that wind chill, feeling closer to about -11, -12. So a special weather statement is in effect for Ottawa. A snow squall watch watch in effect for parts of the Outaouais region, including here in Wakefield. This means blowing snow, reduced visibility on the roads, and likely up to 5 centimeters of snow when all is said and done. And we are tracking just conditions right now. Flurries anticipated to go into the overnight. Friday morning, it should be clear, mainly cloudy skies with a little bit of sunshine, but it's really the cold weather that you'll notice instead of the flurries that have really moved through. Temperatures will remain cool into the evening and stay below seasonal, so it was a much warmer morning than what we will have for the next several days. Minus 10 is going to be around the midnight hour, then it's going to start to cool off, feeling more like minus 23 tomorrow morning when things kick off at 7 a.m. Minus 13 will be the daytime high, but feeling closer to minus 22, especially with those northwesterly winds moving in and gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. And then in the evening, it's going to get even colder, starting to cool down to about minus 17. And we're anticipating overnight lows closer to minus 30. But for tonight, at least for the Seaway, minus 11. Chance of flurries continue tomorrow, a daytime high of minus 10. As we look towards the valley, minus 18 with the risk of snow squalls moving in. Minus 17 is going to be the daytime high. And this is the big U.S. storm that is developing that a lot of people are talking about for the weekend. It may hit parts of southern Ontario by Sunday. It's still early, but there is potential for 15 to 20 centimeters of snow moving in. How will it affect here in Ottawa? Well, we are likely going to be seeing periods of snow moving in Sunday evening and into Monday, where we will likely see more snow. Early forecasts indicating between 10 to 15 centimeters as well. But again, still developing. This can change. Right now, the focus is on the cold, frigid temperatures, where minus 27 is the overnight low for Friday, minus 29 the overnight low for Saturday, and then things will slightly warm up, but it will still be minus 20 for Sunday going into Monday. So it's going to be a cold weekend. Bundle up. I'm talking to people here on the ski hill. Tonight might be a good night to do to get some runs in the hills because it is fairly mild considering the weekend we are going to have. But I'm told that the ski hill will be open this weekend. We'll have those details in the 6 o'clock. Stefan.
All right, wonderful. Thank you for that, Jackie. Bundle up or stay inside, right? Here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on CTV News Ottawa.ca. This new one just coming into our newsroom this afternoon. It features 3 cats the Ottawa Humane Society has rescued, or it's now in their care. Someone found them outside in a gym bag, and the Humane Society is really wanting to let people know that if you can't care for your animals, you can always surrender them to them for no fee. There's no shame if you can't take care of them, but they would prefer that you do not just abandon them outside, especially in these wintry conditions. That and more at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Coming up here on CTV News at 5, the stars of the hugely popular Crave-produced heated rivalry are headed to the Olympics. Details just ahead. If you need gas tonight, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Canadian Tire Station on 10th Line Road in Orleans. Regular gas there is listed for 118.6 cents a litre. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Current temperature -6 and a little windy at this time. Time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
There's going to be very significant impacts for Canadians, just like the very deep public service cuts that we saw in the 1990s.
More than 2,000 employees at Health Canada and Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada have been notified their jobs may be affected as federal departments continue to issue notices about possible layoffs in the public service.
So when we're at full capacity, we have close to 250 beds plus mats going down, and then 20, 30, 40 people in the waiting area.
Another special weather statement for the Ottawa region: snow and snow squalls today before the extreme cold sets in.
I took the train from Herdman and I had to let the first go by because it was absolutely packed, like people couldn't fit.
OC Transpo starts reducing the number of trains running on Line 1 to fix an issue identified with some of the vehicles. No fun for commuters. All of that and more coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thanks, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following. With snowmobile season now in full swing, Ottawa Police held an event today on snowmobile safety on the trails.
When you get your sled out this year, check your helmet, make sure it's still good, it hasn't expired, make sure the sled is in proper working order. When you're out on the trails, fuel up before you go. There's no gas stations along the way. There are some that the trails will take you to, but when you're in the back trail, you want to make sure you're fully loaded, ready to go.
Police are reminding riders to avoid venturing out onto icy waters, stay on designated trails, and adjust your driving to the conditions. Snowmobilers must carry proof of valid insurance, ID, and a trail pass while out.
It doesn't capture the aesthetic, the spirit of the old Alexandra Bridge, which has just become an essential part of the landscape here.
This is what the future of Alexandra Bridge between downtown Ottawa and Gatineau will look like. The National Capital Commission approved this new design today, changing the industrial-style bridge into a 3-arch bridge. Construction is slated to begin in 2028 and run until 2032. As weight loss drugs like Ozempic become more popular, Health Canada is warning people to beware of counterfeit versions being sold across the country. The agency says the fake drugs are being sold in stores and online. In some cases, Health Canada's logo is being used to advertise them. The agency says that is a big red flag because they do not endorse health products. Health Canada warns using these fake products comes with serious health risks, and prescription drugs should only be bought from licensed pharmacies. The Escapade Music Festival will return to the RA Centre Field this June. This year's lineup includes Tiesto, Fisher, Disco Lines, and Canadian duo Loud Luxury. Tickets go on sale Monday at 10 in the morning, and the festival runs between June 26th to the 28th.
You will not be so nice when we beat you.
That's not happening. The popular stars of the heated rivalry hockey drama are set to have a role in the upcoming Winter Olympics. Hudson Williams and Connor Story have shot to fame, playing pro hockey players who find themselves in an unexpected secret romance. The duo will be among the torchbearers for the upcoming Olympic Winter Games in Milano Cortina in February. The show is made by CTV's Bell media partner, Crave. That's CTV News at 5 for today. Thanks for watching. National starts now.